I'm gonna be super real with you now. If you don't stop these eating habits in 2025, you're just gonna stay sad and fat. I know that you want to become the best version of yourself in 2025, and you're tired of getting to the end again next year and feeling like you let yourself down again. If you want to lose weight, if you want to drop some kilos, if you just want to get leaner and just feeling better about yourself, feeling better in your body, feeling better in your clothes, it's all down to the habits that you have. I don't want you to go on another diet. I don't want you to feel horrible and miserable just to then put on the weight again after you lost it. This is me in my 20s when I was at my heaviest, which is about 15 kilos more than I am now. And I was stuck in yo-yo dieting, losing weight, putting weight on for over a decade. And I lost a lot of weight, so I know a little bit about sustainable weight loss, and I can tell you it's not going to happen with another diet. You will lose the weight and you will keep the weight off with changing the habits that you're currently doing. We're creating our future self now. We're creating a new self-concept of who we are. And by doing that, we also have to let go of habits and routines that we're currently doing that are creating the current results for us. Number one is plate clearing. If you're a plate clearer, then you're someone who really struggles to throw food away. Or if you see a plate that has not been cleared, you have the urge to just finish the food because you cannot throw food away. And oftentimes that probably stems from your childhood. You always felt like you had to finish your plate when you were a kid. Maybe your parents or your grandparents or whoever took care of you said things like,
think about the kids in Africa. Think about how much money we spend. Think about how much this meal costs.
So there's a lot of guilt and shame with leaving food behind. I'm gonna be super frank with you right now. You finishing your plate even though you're full already, you stuffing your face and you overeating is not going to cure the hunger crisis in the world. And you thinking, oh, I don't want to waste food, you're wasting food anyway. What do you think happens with the food that you're eating even though you don't eat it anymore? Your body doesn't actually require those calories. Guess what happens with it? The food stores the extra calories, get stored as fat. Your body can only take in what it can take in. Anything extra is a waste anyway. So in order to stop throwing food away, you have to focus on your portion sizes. It is harmful behavior to clear your plate even though you're already full. You will always overconsume calories that way. One thing that you can obviously do is just put the food away, and even if it's a really, really small portion, just put it in a little box, put it in the fridge. And another thing you can just try is just to throw it away and see how this makes you feel, like what actually comes up for you when you do this. So what you want to start focusing on is really pay attention to when you're actually full and how much food is left on the plate. Work on sitting with the discomfort of having just the food there on the plate and not eating it. A lot of stuff will come up in your mind. And if you constantly feel like your portions are too big and you always have to leave food behind, this is a really great way for you to actually realize that when you start eating to enough and you see that there is food still left on the plate, that means your portion are too big. So you have to cook smaller portions, which will actually mean that will save you money in the long run. So you're not actually wasting money, you're becoming actually more money conscious because you know that you don't have to cook that much in one meal. You don't have to buy that many groceries. You can actually reduce your shopping that you do during the week and you just cook smaller portions. And when you go out for a meal, your portions will most likely be too big compared to when we cook at home. And what I do is when I go out for a meal, for example, when I go out for pizza, I used to eat a whole pizza and I would always feel overly full. I would always feel stuffed. This is not healthy eating. Get a goodie bag. Half a pizza is enough for me. That's the perfect amount for me where I don't feel like I have to unbutton my pants and have to go to sleep. And then I take half the pizza home with me and I have it the next day with a salad for lunch. And this is also for me, like I still struggle with this. This is boredom eating. If you're someone who sits at your desk, maybe you're working from home and you're just bored and then you're just like, oh, I want to eat something because I want to like feel a little bit of excitement. That's me. I love to go and have a snack. We're not doing this anymore. Anytime you go up and eat when you're not actually hungry, you probably just had breakfast or you probably just had lunch and then you're like,
oh, I just want to like get a little snack.
This is always overeating. And in order to consume less calories and in order to really develop healthy eating habits, we have to work on our overeating behavior. If you have extra weight, you are overeating. I sometimes have to go on long train rides across the country here in Germany for my job. I never buy snacks and have them on the train because I would just sit for 5 hours and just eat. So you need to understand, do I really need cookies, biscuits, candy for a train ride or for a plane flight? You probably don't. If you are someone who likes to pack snacks, and that's just part of your experience, make at least sure that you pack low calorie or healthy snacks. Like cut an apple, have some carrots, have some rice cakes, something that is just not that calorie dense. But generally I would always work on the actually urge to want to eat when you're not hungry. Like, why is that? What I would recommend, and what I'm also practicing, is just sitting with the urge to want to go eat and just sit with the emotion of being bored and try to do something different. If you're bored, scroll on TikTok for 5 minutes, or just go out for a walk and walk around the flat. Create a substitute habit if you're bored that is not harmful to you. I call it screw it eating. I see this a lot in people who have this sort of diet background. I have a dieting background. I definitely used to have this behavior, but I really worked on it. Honestly, guys, weight loss and weight maintenance is all up here. Weight loss is just mindset. And what you tell yourself is, oh, I'm going to be super perfect. I'm going to be super strict. And then what happens is you maybe go to work and then someone brings in donuts, or you go to a friend and they have crisps or something, and then you just like eat something that you maybe shouldn't eat. And then what happens is you go off the rails. You say screw it. That tells you that you are too strict. If you have the feeling that you need to let loose, your actually diet behavior is not gonna work. It's not sustainable. You need to create a lifestyle where you don't feel like you have to let loose. That's why I'm not a big fan of cheat days, and I have a whole video on why that is, so make sure you go check this out. You should not feel like I need to let loose. That's why I also want you to be really realistic with your body goals. Certain body goals require a very low calorie lifestyle, and if you are okay with doing that, that's fine. But if you are not okay with doing that, then maybe a more realistic body goal is something that is more attainable and achievable for you. You just need to be honest with yourself what you're willing to sacrifice. So instead of saying screw it and then going completely off the rails, just be like, okay, well, I just allow myself this now. I want to have this now. I'm gonna enjoy it. And then guess what? You're gonna consume so much less calories than if you would go off the rails. Think about it like you spill some water and then you're like, oh, screw it, I already spilled a little bit of water, I'm going to spill the whole bottle of water. Like, it makes no sense. Next habit we're going to leave in 2024 is constant grazing. Maybe you have little snacks in your drawer at work or at home. Grazing could also be something like while you're cooking, you're already like grabbing food. Your hands are always somewhere with food involved. All these things that you graze throughout the day, they actually add up to a calorie bulk. And you're super mindless with it because you often also forget that you've eaten all this. And these are all extra calories that you consume, and you just underestimate how much calories something actually has. Every time you really want some food, you have to put it in a bowl or on a plate and sit down and have it. Make it a mini meal, so you're actually registering that you're eating something now. The next habit we're going to leave in 2024 is eating a sweet breakfast and low protein. Because if you eat something really sugary in the morning, and I used to do this, like in Germany, you eat toast and Nutella for breakfast, toast and jam, low nutrients, low protein, low fiber. And all it does when you start your day this way is that you will spike your blood sugar. It doesn't actually fill you up. You're probably going to be hungry in like half an hour. You spike your blood sugar, it will then crash. And what happens is you have this like low, like an hour, 2 hours later, you feel tired, you feel a bit sluggish. It makes you more hungry for sweet snacks. It makes you more peckish. Start your day up with a high protein, high fiber breakfast, because that will really fill you up. It will satisfy you, will actually give you energy instead of depleting energy, will keep your blood sugar stable. The next habit we're going to leave in 2024 is a last supper eating. This is the sort of diet starts tomorrow mentality. Maybe it's going to be New Year's Eve is like your last supper. It's always like some day that your brain creates in your mind, which is like your last opportunity now to eat everything that you want. You completely stuff your face. Maybe you're going to be perfect for 3 days, maybe for a whole week. But then what happens? Then the screw it eating comes in, and then you have to start all over again. I put on so much weight just with the last supper mentality by itself, because what happened is I would completely overeat, because this was like my last chance to have all these foods that I will then not have again. As soon as you like really completely restrict yourself from certain things, you want them so much more, and you have so much more urges and so much more desires to have those foods. It's just such a lie that your brain creates, because in the moment you feel like, of course you can now be perfect, but you're not going to be perfect. It's like this loop that you're caught in, and you always think you can get out of it, but you can't get out of it by actually keep doing the loop. You have to understand that the last supper thinking is the beginning of the loop. And when I realized that, I was like, oh, the only way to get out of the loop is not by being completely perfect. The way to get out of the loop is by not thinking, oh, I'm going to be perfect. And that completely dissolved this loop for me, and I was free of it. The next habit you're gonna leave in 2024 is what I call my last chance eating. So this is something where you feel like, oh, this is my only opportunity to eat this now. This could be at an event, on holiday, when you probably not gonna come back anytime soon or ever again, and you feel like now is my chance to eat everything because I will not ever get this chance again. What do? You completely stuff your face and you're gonna feel horrible. So when you like eat like a pig and you're like completely overeating, you're not enjoying any of it. Anytime you feel really rushy to eat, that is not coming from pleasure. That is not coming from like real enjoyment. I like to always think like, what are people thinking that don't have a diet background, that are just completely normal, healthy eaters? They just would not even think like, oh my god, this is my last chance. Like they are just not obsessed with food. They just enjoy it and then they move on because they have other things in their life that gives them pleasure. You need to come to a place where food doesn't have that huge factor for you, that you have other things in your life that matter and that are important. And that takes time and that takes a lot of awareness around your own relationship with food. So what I like to think about is like my future self just has a really healthy relationship with food. She's not obsessed about it. She doesn't have this constant food noise. What would she think? Or how would she react? And then when I like envision that and like connect with that person, then all this like pressure and all this anxiety just like leaves my body. Another habit that you're going to start in 2025 is skipping meals because you want to save calories. If you are someone like me who has done intermittent fasting because, you know, all the girlies are talking about it and you just want to like lose weight and use it as a diet, but you actually really enjoy breakfast and it actually makes you happy, don't do it. It's not worth it. At the end of the day, if you want to lose weight, it's all about calories, and your overeating is what determines whether you put on weight. So you can have breakfast and be healthy. What I like to do is a 12-hour fast. That's a circadian fast that is healthy for you, that's healthy for your body, that gives your gut a rest, because I'm all about gut health. And it's important that you not constantly eat and give your body a good amount of rest, but 12 to 14 hours is completely enough. If you're someone who skips breakfast to save calories, or if you skip dinner, or if you skip lunch to save calories, first of all, this is really sustainable for you. This is a lifestyle you want to have. I like to have dinner with my boyfriend. I like to cook a nice meal at night. I love having breakfast. Problem is, if you skip meals, you will most likely do something like compensatory eating. So I had a period in my life where I just skipped lunch and just have 2 meals a day. And what happened is I just overate at night. I was ravenous. I was so hungry. I could not stop eating. And then obviously I would eat way more calories than I would have just if I had a healthy lunch. And the next habit you're going to start in 2025 is doing diets. You're not going to do juice cleanse, keto, intermittent fasting. You're not going to do something that feels like ass and that we don't want to do for the rest of our lives. Any diet will help you lose weight, absolutely, because any diet is calorie restriction. But the question is, will you then actually keep the weight off? And that's why people online say, oh, diets don't work. No, they do work. They do work in weight loss. They don't work in weight maintenance. I think the only diet that I would really recommend is just tracking your calories. Track your protein, track your fiber. Calorie counting definitely works, but I think it's just not, for me, a sustainable lifestyle. I don't want to track my calories for the rest of my life. The next habit we're going to leave in 2024 is eating really fast. If you're a fast eater, my girl, you want to stop this. It takes about 20 minutes for your stomach to register that you actually had enough. Do you actually chew your food? I have very naturally thin girlfriends in my circle of friends, and they're all very slow eaters. Naturally, they just chew their food, they put their fork down in between bites, but obviously it is much healthier to eat slower, not only to decrease the calories that you consume in a meal, but also for your gut health. Because if you eat really fast, they always have to lie down afterwards, because first of all, they ate so fast that they consumed way too many calories. The portion sizes are huge. They finish that in like 10 minutes and then they feel overly full, and then they lay down because they can't really do anything now. They're so tired, because your body needs all the energy now to actually digest that food. There's no energy left for anything else. So you feel so tired. It's complete overwhelming for your stomach and for your gut to have this amount of food in such short amount of time. So what I did to work on my fast eating is take breaks in between bites, really put your utensils down. It's like you have to learn to chew your food properly. Setting a timer on my phone for 20 minutes and really giving me those 20 minutes to finish my meal. And sometimes you will see how long that actually is. And it's shocking, like when I thought about, wow, I could have been done in 5 minutes. The next habit you're going to leave in 2024 is eating while you're distracted. What I mean by distracting is more things like walking when you're eating. This is something that I completely stopped. I used to be someone who just got stuff from the bakery and then walked and ate the sandwich. I don't do this anymore. When you eat, you have to sit down somewhere. In order to eat and really enjoy your meal and give your body the signal that you're full, you cannot be in the fight or flight state of your body. You need to be in the rest and digest state. And the rest and digest state you're going to do if you sit down. Another thing that I count as distraction, which I completely stopped doing, doing is eating at your desk while you're working, because you cannot actually, again, register that you just had a meal. And that's when you keep wanting to eat afterwards. This is when you keep wanting to snack, because you're not actually satisfied. Your body has not really registered that you actually had a meal. And then the habit that you're going to stop in 2025 is eating until you're 100% or over 100% full. So stuffing your face, basically. And this is often when you feel like, oh, it tastes so good. This is a habit that you have created because you don't know it differently. You just think this is normal for you to feel that full. And maybe it gives you even a sense of comfort and safety when you feel that full. And it's not normal to just need to lay down after a meal. Your body should have energy after a meal, right? This is what calories are. Calories are there to give you energy. If you don't feel energized after a meal and you feel tired, you probably ate too much. So what we want to practice in 2025 is to eating to 80% full. And this will feel very strange for you, especially if you're someone who eats to 100% for every meal. 80% is where you feel satisfied, where you have enough calories to get energy, but where you don't feel like you need to lay down, where you actually feel good after a meal. And it will feel like eating too little at first. Don't want to stop eating when we're still hungry, but that is why all these habits that I just mentioned are important and they play into each other. So you want to start practicing eating slower so you can actually tell when you are full. We want to stop the plate clearing and just eating with our eyes, but learning to eat with our stomach. We need so much less calories than we think we need. And being hungry in between meals is actually a good thing. It's your signal that now you're ready to eat. So see eating to 80% and eating less food actually as a gift to yourself. Not talking about starving yourself. Overeating shouldn't be your daily routine. It shouldn't be your habit. It shouldn't be something that you do for every meal. What you're gonna do in 2025 is you're gonna become obsessed with feeling your best. And if you want more tips on how to stop your overeating, make sure to watch this video on how I stopped my overeating. And make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok because I'm sharing lots of recipes and I genuinely share a lot of glow up tips, especially on my TikTok. You got this, and I know you're gonna crush 2025 and I'm here for you. Mwah!